can libertarian, in other words, relying on an ideology and principles, withstand the onslaught of postmodernism, which is classically against truth, I guess, critical theory, cultural Marxism. In other words, and they're saying, why do we need to actually be kind of religious, you know, fundamentalists, and think God wants us to do it, you know? What do you think about that?
I have
Can it withstand it?
I work very closely with libertarian organizations and many libertarian individuals. I think the Cato Institute I work constantly with Cato, and I often speak on campus to students for liberty and young Americans for freedom. There are actually a proliferation of libertarian groups on campus, and they seem to be thriving. And maybe in some ways because of the adversity. I often reflect on the fact that friends and colleagues who have experienced repressive regimes really fight for free speech, whereas I think a lot of people in this country take it for granted until their free speech is threatened, which is why so many on the left who had poo-pooed complaints about censorship on campus and cancel culture, once the progressive views on Israel-Palestine started to be subject to some suppression, suddenly they're all in favor of free speech. So I think likewise, the fact that there are all these movements that are challenging a libertarian worldview gives people who are attracted to or even just considering that view more of an incentive to think about it seriously, to explain more deeply why it is a true view or one that they find to be personally true and meaningful. It's one of the virtues of questioning everything that John Stuart Mill salutes in On Liberty. That, you know,
he's a Shane principle man. Remember the movie? I mean, he's absolutely right there in there.
Yeah.
You know?
So I mean, to be forced to re-examine, even if you then reaffirm your pre-existing principle, you will do so with renewed vigor and understanding and vibrancy.
Yes, and I would add to that. This is something I've only observed in the last 2 or 3 years, probably because events have become more pointed since the summer of 2020. But those that are out there leading the charge and defending in many ways, and they're even dragging some Christians along behind them, are libertarian. I think that's worth thinking about why that is. I could name Haidt, I could name Dieter, I could make James Lindsay, you may know of him. I mean, you know, I don't know what it is, but it's, so whatever you're saying, I think I agree with you.